knocked on the window. And the guy looks at me and says, "Go away." Welcome back to the Cheese of the Side of Sandwich, everybody. My name is Chubby Cheese.
And I'm Sammich.
And we're here again with Conan, our best friend.
And mascot.
He's from outer space.
He's not O'Brien.
I'm not sitting here with that look upon my face.
I didn't expect you to do that so deadpan. All right. Oh God, how are you guys? And this totally isn't the second podcast we've had to record this week for no reason.
Yeah, this totally isn't our second podcast that we had to do because somebody fucked up our microphone.
I didn't do it.
I'm not saying it was you.
Yeah.
I'm saying it was somebody. I'm saying somebody did not fuck up our microphone.
I'm just asserting that this is the first podcast we've had to record this week, and the deadline is not tomorrow. It's not like we usually record these on Tuesdays, and we are currently recording Thursday night on a Friday at 9 a.m. a show.
Wait, we're being recorded?
Alright, so, anyway, how are you guys doing? Conan, how you been?
I've been good.
That's good.
Been playing Destiny.
Dude, me...
Destiny! No escaping Destiny! Destiny!
Dude, Destiny 2, though. Destiny 2. Sam, I know you're not a gamer, and we're going to fix that eventually.
Alright.
But, Conan, just a 2-minute Destiny 2 chat. Fucking amazing.
While you guys do that, I'm going to go ahead and play Animal Crossing.
No, don't start doing that.
I've been having a tough time playing Animal Crossing at the same time as Destiny.
Dude, get on my fucking level. I juggle like 6 games that I'm trying to get through.
I still haven't finished Dishonored 2. I got bored.
Me neither. That's on my list.
I got bored. I got probably halfway through it.
Horizon Zero Dawn came out for me.
I still haven't gotten it.
Yeah, I have. Good. Yeah.
Will eventually get it.
Yes.
That is the plan.
Sam!
What?
Stop! Sam is currently trying to force the speaker sounds of Animal Crossing onto her microphone. And in fact, it's getting a little sexual between the two devices, I'm going to be honest.
You're a big fat liar.
It's almost like Claptrap is trying to...
Like GLaDOS.
Yes.
Dude, I've been there. So anyway, yeah, so you got Destiny, or Destiny 2, Dishonored. What else are you working on? Animal Crossing, but that's just, there's no real objective.
There really
You
isn't.
just kind of play it until you die.
I also keep going back to Neverwinter every once in a while just to screw around because it's fun.
Neverwinter Nights?
No, just Neverwinter.
Oh.
MMO.
Oh, okay.
It's not the greatest. It's fun, though. I'm also working on Diablo 3 still. Again.
Oh, but you finished it.
I've beaten it before.
Okay, so like, what games have you yet to finish?
Shit. Oh, Dishonored, Destiny. I've been
Dishonored,
screwing
Destiny.
around in that. I haven't got Horizon Zero Dawn yet. Plan on it. I've got a Switch that I haven't even opened.
Bro, you open your Switch. Do you have Zelda?
Yes.
That should take precedence over everything that you have. So here's my list. My list is Dishonored 2, because Dishonored 1 is one of my favorite games. Dishonored 2, but my problem is when Dishonored 2 came out, like a bunch of games came out.
A lot of stuff came out at the same time.
And then I have Dishonored 2, and I have Horizon Zero Dawn, and then for the longest time I had Uncharted 4, but I finally sat down and played it.
I'm playing Just Cause 3 too.
That just came out on free for PlayStation, right? And then I have, I have Halo Wars 2. I'm still working on, and then I've got Destiny 2, and fucking Assassin's Creed comes out.
Oh god.
Next month, and so does Super Mario Odyssey. So I've got like my whole life to fucking try and play these games, and more keep coming out.
I'm also working on what was it? I just had it in my head. Oh no, my soul is gone.
Yay! Hi, internet.
What game was that? Never mind, I forgot completely. XCOM 2. I've been playing that again because I never finished it.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
And I think they got something coming out for it soon too.
So anyway, tons of games coming out. Destiny 2, it's trying real hard to eat my soul, and it's so much better than Destiny 1.
I never actually got to play Destiny.
I did. So I was that guy who got it day one, got super into it, got to max level as soon as he possibly could, played all the DLC, but as soon as you hit max level, the game just ends. And it's just a bunch of, you're just grinding to get better gear.
That's not fun.
So that you can grind some more to get even better gear. And that was basically end game of Destiny. This has actually been a lot of fun. So,
what level
anyway,
are you now?
I just hit level 20.
Me
today.
too.
Yeah. I haven't finished the story yet, but I hit level 20 because I do a bunch of side shit because I just like enjoy the game. But Breath of the Wild should absolutely take precedence over everything else that you're playing. Breath of the Wild is one of the single greatest games I've ever played ever in my life.
I think it's just I'm so lazy I don't even feel like opening the case.
It's worth it, man. I'm telling you. All right, let's include Sam back into this conversation.
Hi.
Hey, Sam, how's it going?
It's going.
Sam, what's your favorite game of all time? I know you're not a big gamer, but you gotta have at least one.
Pokemon.
Which one?
Depends. Fire Red, Leaf Green is like one of my favorites of all time. Yeah, I didn't get to play Yellow, Red, or Blue growing up because I was freaking poor.
Right.
But I got to play Fire Red, and then somebody stole it, which I mentioned.
Well, Fire
in
Red I think is just as good as the old Red, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then the next game I didn't really connect with on that level of like, oh my gosh, I will die if I lose this game is X. Mm-hmm. And I have Sun and Moon. I have Sun. And I'm waiting. Oh, yeah, I have Y.
Yeah, I have X.
Yeah, sorry. Well, my X and I ended up trading legendaries, so... like, I ended up getting Cerneus, and I gave him Evital.
Oh, that's a failure on his part.
Yeah.
Because Cerneus is fucking amazing.
I know.
The stag Pokemon.
It's ridiculous.
Dude, it's so great.
It's bullshit.
Dude, a legendary fairy type is where it's at.
It's bullshit. The original is amazing.
I love fairy types, but
It looks
steel
awesome.
type. Steel types are my jam.
Yeah.
I run a steel type.
Metal.
So yes. I remember when Steel came out with second generation, I was super excited about Steelix in particular. He was my favorite. And Scizor, I think?
Scizor.
Yeah, the evolution of Scyther was a steel type, which I was super excited about. But anyway, what just came out last week, Sam?
You'll float too. You'll float
Oh.
too. You'll float too.
Dude.
You'll float too. You'll float too. You'll float too.
Alright, so it just came out last week. Wait, shut up. We can only... People all around the world can only make that joke so many times before it's less of a joke and more of a reason to punch somebody in the face.
I'm trying to get someone to hit me, okay?
Yeah, it just came out.
No! Why would you do that?
Oh,
Because you were waiting for somebody to hit you.
You did
That wasn't a hit, that was a slap.
And?
You did ask for it.
I did.
So it came out, the new one, and I'm just gonna say it, better than the Tim Curry one, first of all.
Yeah, we just got done watching the first part of it, the miniseries.
To prepare for the podcast, we watched the original. We watched the original it, and very different in tone.
Yeah.
Very different in tone. The two movies are now. Conan, you've read the book.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Now you have, but you haven't seen the movie.
I haven't seen the movie.
You're in this interesting position. We've all seen the Tim Curry It, but you've read the book and we've seen the movie.
The new movie.
It's been a long time since I read the book, though.
So, but there's this dramatic change in how the movie is actually presented. Like the movie, the new one, way gorier and darker than the Tim Curry one.
Which is how the book is supposed to be, from my understanding. I kind of went on the Wikipedia.
The part of the book where stuff actually happens.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've heard too. I've heard the book is just, it's a whole lot of nothing and then a lot of things.
It's a lot of exposition leading up, and then all of a sudden the last 100 or so pages, something like that, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah, everything is happening.
Everything is happening right now.
But it's taking 500 pages to build up.
It's taken more like 900 to get to this point. It's 1,000-something page book.
Yeah, I went to go purchase it over at the bookstore, and I was just like, I thought it was going to be like most of Stephen King's books and be like, a couple hundreds. And then it was like fucking 4 inches thick, and I'm like, I can't really read this when I have other books. I can, but I have other books I have to read first.
And so we've got video game lists. Sam's got a book list that she's got.
I've got a book list.
I think we all do, but I think our video games list are probably taking a little more precedence right now.
Well, Animal Crossing.
I've also been reading Nietzsche right now, too.
Nice! I do like Nietzsche.
Animal Crossing has my soul right now, so I keep putting books off. And then last night I put...
of Animal Crossing.
Well, I put off Animal Crossing last night to paint.
I like to call them time vampires.
It's a time dump.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I put off Animal Crossing last night to paint something for my grandmother, which is Margaret Keane-esque painting of herself when she was, like, younger.
Oh, that's really
And it looks
cool,
super cartoony, like almost anime right now.
You showed it to me. I really liked it.
That's what we got so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad Ivan's not going to be able to edit this, because we got to do this, like,
Ivan's on
soon.
vacation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's off seeing his family in Russia.
Well, it's totally not like we, totally fucked up.
Yeah, it's not like I literally have zero... I mean, Ivan has literally zero time to edit this podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah, otherwise I'd put a picture up of what it looks like so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some more today, but I just keep fucking up.
Sure. Well, how about when it's complete?
When it's complete, yeah.
Yeah, like when it's complete, we'll put it up and we'll share your work with
And then maybe, hopefully it won't, come to life and try and eat our faces off. Like in the movie.
One can only hope.
Yeah.
That's a good question I have. Okay. So, in the book, is the movie structured the same way where every kid has their own individual torment that makes them all come together? Like their own fears are thrown at them?
I think so. It's been a long time since I read the book.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of going through the Wikipedia, and it kind of seemed like the miniseries.
Wikipedia, she just thinks she's special. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Have me on your podcast, Pan Senpai. I can only stand these two for so long. I say Wikipedia too. No, it seemed like on Wikipedia the It miniseries seems a little closer to the book as far as their fears goes, I think.
Okay.
But I don't actually know.
Well, I imagine it's probably structured the same way, since both the movie and the original kind of follow that same structure, where the kids have their individual horrors that brings them all together. But yeah, the one for Stan, the Jew, is a painting of a really decrepit woman comes to life.
It looks like a haunted painting, which is known to be haunted painting.
I wish I had a good example of something it looks like, but there's really nothing quite.
It's very surreal looking, and kind of.
It's almost like Salvador Dali and O'Keeffe, made a painting together.
I was thinking more of the Scream.
Oh yeah.
Kind of that kind of similar squiggly body type look. Mm-hmm. And then there's a famous haunted painting called The Hands Resist Him. And it was painted in 1972 by Bill Stoneham, and it's supposed to be like a haunted painting, like you're going to be terrified to look at it, or it's just haunting. I don't know. I personally don't think it's that scary.
Sure.
But it's just known.
How would a haunted painting work? Does it kill you if you look at it? Is that the...
I guess it just leaves you feeling fucking like you're being watched, or you just don't feel right.
Painting.
It's just a creepy painting.
It's just kind of creepy looking at the doll face and the hands and stuff.
Yeah, I got it up on my phone right now.
Okay. So anyway, about the movie, the new one though, I just want to throw out there that Finn Wolfhard, who plays Richie, and is also Mikey in Stranger Things,
yes,
is my favorite child actor I've ever seen ever.
Yeah, he is really good.
He's genuinely the coolest kid.
And considering only 3 kids in the new It movie actually act well, he is the top.
I thought the acting was fantastic.
Some of them are. Part. I think some of them are a little better than others, though.
I just like the acting in the Tim Curry one.
Oh, it's just awful.
Yeah.
I mean, Pennywise is good. Tim Curry's great.
Yeah.
Tim Curry's great in everything he's in.
Marianne, look, I'm a sloth. Look how slowly I move. He plays Nigel. He plays Nigel Thornberry.
Tim Curry is Nigel Thornberry?
Yeah, can you hear it?
I never knew. Oh my god!
Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers is Donnie, right?
No, that I knew.
Yeah. No, Tim Curry is Nigel Thornberry.
Oh my god.
Can you hear it?
My world just got turned upside down.
Look, I'm a sloth.
Oh.
She had 2 kids with that man.
Oh god.
Good and god. Also a wild child and a monkey.
Wild Child and a Monkey is a good name for a band.
Omniscient Fog Machine also is.
Oh yeah, what was another one we came up with?
Ominous Fog Machine.
Ominous Fog Machine.
Ominous Fog Machine.
That sounds like a doom metal band. Anyway.
Instrumental only though.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, that's how I feel about Ghost, the doom metal band. Is his vocals on some of his songs almost ruin the music. Like, sometimes the music is just really nice and gothy, and then his voice comes in and it's rather high range.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah,
well.
He's kind of, I don't know if he's a falsetto, but like his voice is up there, and it kind of is a little
takes
jarring.
Away from the doom and gloom.
Like
of the
Cerise, their big song Cerise took me a little while to get into because of his vocals. I'll play it on guitar. Play it on guitar all day. It's like one of my favorite jams just to bust out. Vocals, they took me a little while. It's like a good whiskey. Took a little while to grow on me. So anyway, Sam, which was better, the Tim Curry or the new one?
Well, I mean, obviously one's gonna be better in this field and whatnot. But I personally like the new It.
Yeah.
But I think I like Tim Curry's, like, Pennywise a little bit better. But it's not because I think he did a better job. I like his costume a little bit better than the person who played it, or Pennywise. Well, because think about it this way.
I haven't seen the new movie.
Right.
But from what I've seen of Pennywise and that, and Tim Curry's would be a better Predator.
Yeah.
Because he's more approachable.
He's more approachable.
He's not as terrifying looking straight up looking at.
He's trying to get children to be lured into his lair so he can eat them. The Pennywise in the new It just fucking looks terrifying. Clowns don't freak me out. That clown would make me be like, I'm gonna fucking blow this nightstand.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, that too.
Such a good movie.
I want that to be the next It.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
God. Yeah.
I would go see that if they remade it.
Well, I guess...
Well, I would see it. I don't know if I'd like it, but I'd see it.
But I do prefer the way how they directed and filmed the new It better than the miniseries that they made in 1990.
I'm hard-pressed to think of anything I like more in the Tim Curry. I like Bill Skarsgård better as Pennywise.
Well, I like the costume better as Tim Curry's, though, because, like, he just... In the new one, he just doesn't look approachable.
I think the old one...
And it's like he's saying...
It looks so plain.
That's the point. That is the reason why so many kids are afraid of clowns.
That's what I'm saying, though. But I mean, like, there's a difference between costuming in 1990 and costuming in 2017, where they have the ability, the money to invest into details and things like that. And really, his costume really does kind of look like a clown costume that you get at like Party City.
It's filthy.
Yeah.
And he looks way more...
Out of Party City.
I don't know.
And he's a lot more terrifying to talk to. Like, at least in Tim Curry, like, Georgie actually was kind of like, oh, it's a clown. Like, he's supposed to be afraid of it, yeah, but he doesn't really get nervous until, you know, he's just like, hey, I'm gonna eat you now.
No,
That costume that the new one has, it's absolutely filthy and it's ragged. And plus, when Georgie...
No, not in the beginning. Not during, like, the Georgie sequence.
Georgie sequence, it was pretty dirty. But, like, even in that sequence, though, like, he made me uncomfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable as a 24-year-old adult, I'm not going to want to be talking to that person as an 8-year-old kid.
Right, but you don't have the innocence of a child. That's the thing.
No, but as a child, I wouldn't fucking go talk to that guy.
Remember when we talked about the movie Clown, about how that 8-year-old wanted to be friends with that clown, and he ended up getting a saw blade through his chest and eaten?
Yeah, that wouldn't fucking happen in real life.
It would, though. Kids are like that. Kids will straight up go to strangers and be like, yo, what's up, bro? Hey.
Not my nieces and nephews.
Your nieces and nephews, I'm going to be honest with you, too cool for people.
Yeah, they are.
So, it's not a good representation of the entire child community. Children just do that. Children will just...
Well, Conan's met my youngest niece, Ava. I think she could take anybody who comes up to her.
She might bite Pennywise.
Dude, I believe it.
She is 4.
Fucking Maggie from The Simpsons.
She wouldn't even bite. She's just like a 4-year-old little badass. She'd probably kick him in the shin.
If Pennywise tried to take a bite out of her, she'd go...
Ah! And run away.
After she bit it.
Yeah.
I think, no, I genuinely disagree. I really think that Bill Skarsgård's version is so much better.
No, I'm saying his is better, but I don't like the costume.
Even the
is all I'm
costume.
saying.
I think the costume is more appropriate for what a creature that's been here for hundreds and hundreds of years would look like.
But he wasn't always a clown either. He
was
originally...
a clown 200 years ago. For 200 years, he's been a clown.
But apparently his true form is a spider, and when it's not the spider, then it's the lights. is its purest form for the creature that it is, which lives in the in-between between worlds, which we can't really get into because that's not really in it, but it is in the Dark Tower series.
But no,
I do remember in the book he became a pterodactyl or something like that.
Well, I just comedy comes in threes, Sam. 4 is too many. Repetition is good, but 4 is too many.
No, I genuinely do like the new It better though.
But I mean, like, I think I like the costume more. That's all I'm saying.
No, I like the costume better too, but like thinking about it, like he is a clown to lure children in.
Right.
He scares them because in his words, it's quote unquote salting the meat, which makes it taste better to him.
Right. But children are not inherently afraid of clowns.
No, but I was fucking afraid of Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, no, I get that. I mean, like, but you have reasons.
It's a stranger danger type thing.
Exactly.
It's ingrained in us
But
children.
I think children as a whole don't really see things the way like you or I would. I think they would just see the colors. As long as it's got the bright...
There are no colors in the new one, though.
Sure.
He's so plain and monotone. Like, the most color he's got is in his hair and on his face, which is red and white.
Not in the Georgie sequence.
In the Georgie sequence, he's got those really bright blue eyes, which then go to yellow, because those are his true eyes.
But I mean, like, it shows, like, the top part of his clothes.
Maybe I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, Georgie is still conversing with him, and he seems terrifying. His voice is not friendly.
Because there's a difference between luring version of Penny, and then there's the predator version of Pennywise.
True. But at least, like, Tim Curry's version, like... Yeah, his voice is really gruff, but it just sounds like he's he just sounds like he smokes a hell of a whole lot.
Well, have you ever seen the picture?
Which one?
Of Pennywise outside in the umbrella smoking?
Yeah.
Just sad clown days.
Hello, darkness, I think
there it is.
I think the new one is better in every way, with the exception that the old one has Seth Green, and I didn't know that until we sat down and watched the movie. Literally 30 minutes ago. And we were talking, it would be really cool as if when they do the 27 years later versions, if Seth Green, who played young Richie in the original It, came back to do old Richie.
We could see Richie dye his hair back to like a dark black or a dark brown or something.
But I mean, like, I think that would be really just a nice little inside joke Easter egg during the movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, well, I thought that would be a great idea, too.
So, what is your worst fear?
Alien chestbursters.
Out of everything that's ever existed ever.
Alien chestbursters.
Alien chestbursters.
Because when I was like 8 years old, my grandmother let us watch, I think it was Alien Resurrection.
No, it's Alien 1.
No. When I saw it, it was like, it was the last one. It was when Ripley is a clone. But I didn't get to see the beginning. And all I saw was, like, this one guy, during a scuffle, he starts, like, freaking out, and then suddenly a fucking alien chestburster bursts through his chest, and me being, like, 8 to 9 years old, freaked me the fuck out.
That's not good for an 8-year-old.
Well, I actually, because I didn't see how it got there in the first place, I never saw the alien, like, the face huggers. So, for literally, like, 3 years, I slept with a pillow over my head because I figured that they just crawled in your ears and then implanted themselves in your chest. Like a little worm.
Did you ever, as a kid, go back and watch the original Alien?
I did, like, when I was 19, 20, maybe 21. So not as a kid, no.
Oh, man. That would have put your fears to ease.
Well, after I was reading What Dreams May Come, the book, because it's about a guy who goes to hell to find his wife.
Right.
I was thinking, it's like, what is my worst fear? And the first thing that came up was, like, alien chestbursters. And
now,
like, fuck.
What about it are you afraid of? Are you afraid of them getting in, like the face huggers themselves, things going in your ear, or literally that at any second... The whole scenario.
The whole scenario, and then, like, something being impregnated into your chest and then bursting out from the inside is, like, horrifying to me. Because, like, they showed the ribcage, cracking open.
Have a good time.
No, I didn't.
It freaked me the fuck out.
Resurrection wasn't that good.
No.
So I was actually thinking...
referring back to the original.
Oh, well, yeah.
John Hurt.
So I was thinking, as, you know, It is not a terrifying movie to the point where it's going to freak me out after I leave the theater. But I did walk a little faster to the house after leaving my car at night.
I gotta be honest, it stuck with me just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Like
when I was walking alone at night, like down the block to my grandma's.
I'm pretty jaded when it comes to horror movies, just because I'm so used to horror games, which is a way more terrifying experience.
Especially when it gets to VR.
Well, exactly. I've played VR horror, and
oh man,
no.
I kept touching you during the jump scenes.
I hated you for that.
Yeah, I would just touch Sean's neck and he would just jump and I'd grab him. He's like, "Who the fuck did that?"
I was playing Resident Evil 7 in PlayStation VR, dealing with a whole spectrum of terrifying shit. And can't see because I got the VR visor on. And here's fucking Sam touching me in my face and my shoulders and stuff while I'm dealing with people trying to kill me and jumping out and shit. It was favorite, genuinely not cool.
My favorite part.
Yes.
My favorite part. My favorite part was when you looked directly at me with the VR set on and you're like, I can't see anything, and I've got my middle finger 2 inches away from your face and you sure? Yeah, I can't see anything. Okay, good. And you just turn away.
You know, we did record the video for that.
We recorded it, yeah, but something happened.
Well, yeah, it was a problem with it. The webcam that I used records at a really poor frame rate, so it couldn't reconcile 60 frames per second with 14.7 frames per second, so the audio sync just got off.
Yeah.
That's the technical version of what happened.
So everybody, it wasn't fast enough, basically.
Yeah. The webcam wasn't good enough to handle it.
Yeah.
To handle what we were doing. But I went back and I watched just the webcam video, and you are a fucking asshole. You are straight up a dick. There's some real dick moves out there.
You were kind of being a dick to me that day. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it.
I'm a dick to you every day.
Yeah.
You just gotta learn to live with it.
Meh.
and take your revenge when you can.
Yeah, exactly. However, that was a dick move. I was helpless. I was in a place I couldn't defend myself.
Conan, do you want to help me out with this one?
What?
Hello,
no, that's not sad. That's not sad. That's just scary.
You just look sad as you're explaining all that.
Fucking asshole. Okay, Conan.
Getting spaced.
What is getting spaced? Is your worst fear? Like getting sucked out into space?
Like dying in a vacuum.
At least that's an insta-death.
That's 3 seconds. 3 seconds of probably the worst hell you could imagine.
Oh no, alien chestburster lasts for quite a while.
I'd rather be attacked by something crazy in the dark.
Yeah.
I'd rather be eaten alive.
Sure.
But getting spaced for some reason, stuck in a vacuum.
So if you ever had the opportunity to go to space, you wouldn't do it?
Oh yeah, I'd go to space.
Okay. So at least your fear isn't paralyzing. If Sam ever finds an animal that is known to burst out of chests, I'm sure she's not going to go anywhere near the postal code where that animal is located.
Well, she's more likely to, come across a full xenomorph than just, a chest burster.
True.
Or
I would think it would be awesome to go to space, but then the idea of aliens
probably wouldn't survive very long after that encounter anyway.
Yeah. That's a shit.
I want to go to space so I can fight aliens.
Just make sure that you have the
and
cure.
And also probably fuck them.
What? Those are literally the only 2 options we have with aliens. We can either kill them or we can fuck them. There is no in between.
Or find some weird alien sex robot.
Because we'll go to Zorp and we'll.
Well, then we can fuck their sex robot, and then you can fight them.
It's a foolproof plan if I've ever heard one.
He's going to say, "Daddy, death." It's like fuck.
What's my worst fear? I think
being alone.
Whoa.
I think everybody fears that.
Oh shit! That just got real. Oh, Sam.
Wow, I'm an asshole.
Whoa.
Conan gave me this lemonade that has 26 grams of sugar.
What is in that fucking lemonade? Is that
concentrated evil?
Oh man, that's some real shit right there.
I got it from a blue-haired old man.
Besides ending up alone, I think my worst fear genuinely is being buried alive.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's my worst fear. And
especially since you can't really dig yourself out once you're buried. I mean, Houdini almost died doing that.
Well, that's the thing is, I mean, like there are certain movies that like romanticize it, like
Kill Bill.
Like Kill Bill, where she's able to get out.
Yeah, and like I would think
there's a really weird sequence of her just kind of flying up through the dirt, which I never really understood.
Yeah. I know, it's just like watching that movie, it's like I could probably punch my way through if, given enough adrenaline, but I would not be able to climb out.
Yeah.
There have been people who have been buried alive, a few who have, like Chris Angel, I think, did it, and like he was able to get out, or somebody was able to get out, but they couldn't. It's the climbing of the dirt that gets on you. You just suffocate. Yeah. So yeah, that would be terrifying.
That's the thing.
Because you have to exert energy to dig.
Yeah.
Which makes you breathe. Air, which you breathe, less oxygen, you die.
Or you just be Kill Bill and you fucking float.
You mean Beatrice?
Or you manage to get
Kill Bill.
Manage to get your one hand out of the dirt, like just a finger, and then you die.
Yeah. As long as it's your middle finger, then you can die happy.
Eat a dick, dirt.
Eat a dick, person who buried me alive.
Or you get like that corpse bride section where somebody just comes and they give you a wedding ring.
Yeah.
And then you like revive like 10 years later or whatever.
Oh my god.
In the woods, you said your vows so perfectly.
I have never seen that movie.
Right?
I hadn't seen it until just recently.
I love Tim Burton, but I have missed a lot of his movies.
I like that movie, but I was really pissed off because around the time that it came out, I had invented a similar story like 2 years prior or so before I had even heard about this movie, and I was really pissed off.
I hate when that shit happens.
And it wasn't even really, it wasn't even similar, really, but I knew that people would compare it.
Just similar enough.
Yeah, well...
It had dead people. And that was about
Everything
it.
has dead people now.
When I...
I'm such an edgelord.
When I first started writing music, I wrote this guitar riff that I was really happy with.
And then it sounded like something else.
Loved it.
Seether.
Then Seether came out with a new album. That was Isolate and Medicate came out. And the first song on that album is called See You at the Bottom. Their opening riff is the exact goddamn fucking riff that I had wrote like 6 months prior.
That's the problem.
So
with
pissed
writing
off.
music.
Yeah.
Because it's all almost been done before.
Mm-hmm.
So, going back to it real quick, because you were talking about our biggest fears.
Yeah, biggest fears.
How would Pennywise kind of go about being buried alive, being spaced, and a xenomorph coming out of me? Maybe for me would be a little easier because Alien also scared the fuck out of me. He could just be a fucking xenomorph coming after me.
He could just do the xenomorph.
But the space and the thing about being buried, actually, I think being buried would be easy.
Yeah, being buried he could do, because he can just transform me into a place that
Yeah.
slowly gets tighter and tighter and tighter.
And then snap you out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you could suck all the air out of a room.
Yeah.
Well, you were an asthmatic as a kid too.
Yeah.
Weren't you?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I had to have an inhaler, but I wasn't super dependent upon it.
Yeah. My roommate's brother is just like that.
But he could, make a perfect vacuum. He could suck all the air out of a room somewhere.
Or make it like, say, you're running through, like, under a school, because, movies always go back to a school and, like, maybe carbon dioxide the place or something.
But that's different still. I guess.
Yeah.
My theory is it's stuck in a vacuum.
Yeah, the actual water and air in your body just starts getting...
Like your body literally gets pulled apart.
My teacher boss actually had a vacuum where we could, put resin in to get the bubbles out of things. Mm-hmm. So I could see you just walking into like a giant thing of that and being terrified.
Well, they also have like hyperbaric chambers and.
That would be fucking.
I mean, there are places you can go that
where they tested the theory about a bowling ball and a feather falling at the same rate.
Yep.
It had to be in a perfect vacuum.
It does.
I thought it was like a marble and a.
Well, it was bowling balls.
It's and then they did a hammer and the feather on the moon. That was the famous experiment. That was the famous confirmation of Einstein's theory was on the moon. Which, hey, you can tell what's going to happen on the moon without actually being on the moon. That's cool. that was pretty big for science back then.
If you believe in the moon landing.
I think all three of those fears, Pennywise would have the power to replicate. think so.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the old Pennywise, Tim Curry's Pennywise. He really doesn't do anything that's scary. He just
Tim Curry's
half the time he's either not really there, or he's the kids don't really see him transform into anything except for his teeth,
which is not the case in the new one.
In the new one, he there's like a scene where he contorts his body, which is really trippy.
So
I don't know why I love those scenes so much, but the body contortions scenes are really trippy to me.
He's like going into a refrigerator and he contorts.
Yeah, I went to the restroom and I came back and the girl's behind us.
Shit was happening.
Yeah, and I knew it.
Yeah. There was a woman behind us.
There was like 3 girls.
That you could just hear going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
And they were like screaming like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared.
So
and they're
freaking funny.
And like I would like look back every once in a while and like these 3 girls are like huddled together like pretty much on top of each other like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
It was so good. It was one of the ones like if you can see it in the theater with a bunch of people who have never seen it, highly recommend.
Yeah. Because
it is a fun experience just to listen to other people.
I've seen enough horror movies that I know the tricks now. Like, oh yeah, the music really is what makes it.
Well, music is 90% of a horror movie. Yeah. But I'm gonna be honest. As much as a horror film buff as I am, there were moments in it that took me completely by surprise.
I pretty much got most of them. There was like 1 or 2 that I actually like, ha, it got me a little.
Where like, there's like these really good moments where like the music builds and then it stops.
You start looking for a save point?
And then nothing happens. And then just right at that moment when you think nothing is actually gonna happen, that they were bluffing, right when that thought gets in your head is when something happens.
I think I know what you're talking about, when the Molly Ringwald-esque Bev, who totally looks more like Molly Ringwald than Molly Ringwald ever has. When there's a time, spoilers, where she basically kills her father, and you think it's good, and she's got all this adrenaline. I felt like such an adrenaline rush watching this scene, because her father is a disgusting pervert rapist. Yep. And he's going for her. He's just like, "Are you still my little girl?" And you could see the fear and the anger. A lot
of words got said that I wasn't particularly happy with.
No, I wasn't either. But that's why I was so angry. I don't know about you, but being a girl, like, I was just fucking pissed and terrified.
Oh yeah, no, I was definitely uncomfortable. Like, it definitely got under my skin.
Yeah, definitely. And after she kills her father, she ends up bashing his head in with the back of a toilet seat. Mm-hmm. It's silent, and she turns around and then Pennywise is there.
There are some brilliant moments in there that completely took me off guard, which I love. I love when I can't tell what's going to happen in a horror movie, and it's been so long since
I had a lot of fun with this one. Like, I wasn't terrified. I pretty much could see what everything was going to happen, but it was fucking great. I had so much fun. I left that theater laughing.
There's one, I did too. There's one sequence that that got under my skin, and it's a film technique that's becoming more and more common as kind of like a film shot to unsettle the audience, which is where, like, it's when he's dancing.
Oh,
and his face
is in focus.
It's not that his face is in focus, is that the camera follows his face, so his face is always straight and in the same place, but his entire body it's really hard to describe.
Yeah,
but
I know what you're talking about.
It's another good example of that. In the second Sherlock Holmes movie, A Game of Shadows, they did that when they were running away and they're being shot at by the Germans, and they were doing like the pan, and then like they would be moving and they would just follow the face, and the face would stay in the same part of the frame, but the entire body would move, kind of like a gyroscope almost.
I'm sorry, but Crumble Bun Panty Snatcher is the only Sherlock I care about.
Robert Downey Jr. was an amazing Sherlock. Fight me. But that's the kind of shot that they use, where it's very much like a gyroscope is the best metaphor I can use, where his face is in the exact same place on the frame, but his entire body is swerving.
And it's super disorienting. It's those motions that aren't natural that really make us feel weird. Like, a good example, also, it's not quite the same camera movement, but Courage the Cowardly Dog. Return the
Oh, yeah. Well, that was just because it was such a different style.
It was a different style, and it moved differently from the rest of everything else.
That genuinely terrified me as a kid.
Yeah, it freaked me out. It didn't terrify me.
Everyone who saw it as a kid.
It's a similar feeling we get because it's so unnatural compared to everything else that we have seen. It gives us like this weird, especially in a theater. I got a rumbling in my chest from the bass that was going on.
Yeah. Well, and that's a really good point. Like, there's like The Grudge is a really good example of the creature like walking on like with its back arched.
Yeah.
And walking. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that the human body can't do is when it starts getting unsettling. And so when that's coupled with, the unsettling, jarring camera movements, it really does create this really nice effect.
I did start laughing when he started dancing, though, because it's like, Pennywise, the dancing clown, and then the door opens, and he's just like, and it's this happy music, and he just looks like, I'm having a bad day. Dance, dance, dance,
it's
dance,
so good,
dance, 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 dance.
Because that's when it starts getting into terrifying Pennywise as opposed to just...
Yeah. Because he's trying to terrify Bev, who is not afraid of him at this point. Which I was actually wondering when he first took her, if the reason why he took her, I figured, okay, she's probably not afraid of him. But could it be possibly because he doesn't necessarily see Bev as a child anymore?
Well, that's a big point of the
That's a big point of this movie, yes. I don't know about the book.
Yeah, I don't know how this goes in the book, but in the new movie, Bev Marsh, towards the beginning of the movie, starts her period for the first time. And so it really becomes this whole, like...
The blood.
Yeah, it starts the whole, her comparison to blood, like her association with blood.
Her theme is blood in this movie.
Super early. But there's also, like, this age thing where it's a coming into her own as an adult kind of story that Bev Marsh in particular goes through. And then that was what we were wondering, is that why Pennywise had no effect? Because Pennywise doesn't kill adults.
Not in this movie.
At least in the movie.
In this movie, he's not. I think in the miniseries, he did.
He killed the older kids.
Yeah. Because sex is something also that we see as something that, adults do.
Right.
Lovemaking or, other things and whatnot. And it's heavily implied, and I didn't really get this at first, because I thought that her dad was just an asshole, and then, 2 minutes later, I'm like, I got terrified, because there was this, if it bleeds, it can breed feel I got that just enraged me.
Yeah. Well,
after he talked
that's played up so much more in the new movie.
In the new movie.
Because the old movie it's much more kind of, implied.
Yeah.
Well, they probably couldn't have gotten away with it at the time.
No, they could not.
The same thing kind of happened with Freddy Krueger on Nightmare on Elm Street, where the old movie, he was a child murderer. Yeah. And in the new movie, in the reboot, he was a child molester and murderer.
That's terrible. Oh, that's right. His original, before he became Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Because that's more, from a horror, what we can put on film standpoint, that's much more acceptable.
Yeah. And that's another thing. In the old movie, they didn't necessarily say this, but in this one, it's heavily implied that that Bev she sleeps around a lot for being a 13-year-old.
Although she doesn't.
She doesn't. No, she even says, I've only ever kissed one boy, which was Henry in a play. Mm-hmm. And Henry's a big fucking pig and says, he's done her a bunch of times, but he's fucking gross.
Yeah, she's called a slut a lot.
She's trashy. They dump trash on her. Yeah. It was fucking
It's really unfortunate.
It made me mad, especially being teased a lot when I was younger. Yeah. And boys are fucking assholes at that age, too.
If you were not upset at any point during the movie...
I almost cried in the theater of, just tears of rage and fear for me.
That's good. It means the movie's
doing
its job.
Oh, yeah. No, it's doing its job. It was just, I was so mad.
Yeah. It's so nice to have a horror movie that's good. Can I just say that? It's been a long time.
It's good how they filmed this compared to the miniseries. Yeah. Where the miniseries seems to focus on the child arc and the adult arc at the same time, whereas this is just dealing with the kids.
But it's a coming of age.
It's a coming of age story. Yeah. Yes, which is what the book is.
I think the metaphor, granted, it's a horrific metaphor, but the metaphor is Pennywise's puberty. Does that make sense? They have to overcome Pennywise in order to transition
That's
into
one hell of a
adulthood.
puberty.
Yeah.
You know, because puberty is scary. There's all these changes and things that nobody understands.
Fuck. Even during my time of the month, I'm not that terrifying.
But
like, did you ever tear their arm off a child?
No.
It's exaggerated to a horror degree, but you can kind of see the metaphor, right? Like, I'm not crazy.
A little bit.
Am I just crazy?
A little bit.
Okay, I can accept.
I read something.
If it's
a
supposed
little.
to be puberty or a metaphor for that, why does it kill Georgie?
Georgie is a child.
I'm just.
He's not at the age yet.
I'm just trying to make good conversation for the audience, man.
I read something a little.
Holes in it.
Well, I read something a little similar in an interview with Stephen King, but it's not necessarily puberty.
No, but it is a coming of age story.
It is,
right?
in a way.
Like, it's definitely a coming of age story.
Mm-hmm.
Whether Pennywise is puberty, whatever.
It's
metaphors are metaphors.
Children can also be more adult than adults.
True. Adult. That's one of the
not
big
always.
Things.
It really bugs me when I'm playing Animal Crossing and then there's a 9-year-old who tells me, "Oh yeah, I'm much more mature than other 9-year-olds." Then I'm gonna be all like, "Well, fuck."
That was always what I thought growing up. I was like, if you have to assert how mature you are, you're probably not mature.
You're not.
If you have to assert your age, you're probably not old enough for whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, no.
I'm 18, so therefore I can. No, you probably shouldn't.
I'm 16 years old. I'm not a child anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, you are,
Yeah.
Ariel.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
are.
And what's funny is when you learn that lesson, you're old enough for that lesson not to mean anything. So let me ask you guys, what's the last horror movie that you watched that has come out chronologically that's been good? Because for me, it's been years since last.
It's been a pretty long time.
It's been pretty much a shit show for the past couple of years.
I don't even
We're
remember.
not counting like ones that are terrible on purpose.
No. I mean like a good horror movie that was released in theaters. Because the last one I think was 2014, and that was The Conjuring. And The Conjuring was way overhyped. And I had buddies who were just like, Sean, I do not get scared at horror movies, and The Conjuring freaked me the fuck out. I'm like, oh man, I gotta see this movie. So I went and saw the movie, and I'm like, that was pretty good. But other than that, it's been Saw for me. And the last good Saw was Saw 6. Saw 6 is fantastic. Fight me. 4, 5, 7 are okay.
I only saw a couple of the Saw movies. I haven't seen them all.
The first two.
The first one is my favorite.
The Saw one's amazing.
The first Saw, yeah, and the people who say like, oh, that they don't like Saw, it's just like, no, rewatch the first Saw. It is like a psychological horror.
It's not
the
gore
rest
at all.
of them are all super gory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's some gore in the first Saw.
It gets progressively worse, definitely. But the first Saw is just... It's just playing with your mind.
Yeah.
And that's all the point of that movie is.
I'm trying to think of other horror movies I've seen aside from Harry Potter and the Big Beautiful Woman in Black, which is Lady in the Water.
Saw is my...
Or Woman in the Water.
I prefer more psychological thrillers.
I do too.
They fuck with you
7.
more.
That's a long time ago.
I know, but that's like one of my favorite... Oh, you know what? Actually, one of my favorite quote-unquote horror movie is actually...
quote-unquote horror. It's probably not a horror movie.
Reanimator.
I don't know what that is.
That movie is amazing.
I love Reanimator.
What is
it's based off an H.P. Lovecraft short story called Reanimator. Or what was it, Reanimator?
The Reanimator?
Yeah. Or something like that. And it's basically a med student brings back a body back to life. And shit just hits the fan.
It's kind of Frankenstein-y.
Kind
is it
of.
a horror movie, though?
It's kind of campy, but it's great.
Great
well, no.
transplant.
There's this scene.
Wait, what did you just say?
There's this scene.
The two-headed transplant.
Yeah.
Two-headed...
There was a movie called that. It had, Stacy Keach in it?
Okay.
Saying a lot of words to me that I don't understand.
Well, let me finish Reanimator real quick. So there's this scene that actually would terrify the shit out of me. And it kind of did when I first saw it, just thinking about my situation. But now I feel terrible because I laugh. So, one of the guys that gets brought back to life is like a doctor, professor thing. And he's got his head cut off. He was decapitated. And he's just carrying around his head, basically. And like a thing of blood. And he's just running around. Well, he really wants this one other, the dean's daughter. So he puts her on an operating table and basically strips her of her clothing and ties her down to the table. And when she wakes up, she just sees this head. And it starts to basically say how much he wants her, how much he's always loved her, and all this other stuff. And she's screaming her head off. And she's naked. And then this fucking body grabs the head, which is covered in blood. And then she's screaming, and he says, yes, more pleasure. And then he basically sucks on her boob.
What the fuck?
And it is terrifying, and I feel really bad, but lately I laugh at it because the acting's kind of bad. When did that movie come out? 90s, maybe the 80s. So 93, I'm gonna say.
Are you telling me that it is the best horror movie you've seen since the year you were born?
Yeah. 1985.
Okay.
Fantasy horror.
So you weren't even close to being born yet. You weren't even a thought in your parents' minds yet.
No, and I watched this movie for the first time, actually, like, all the way through, like, 3 years ago.
But you're not answering my question. What was the last movie to come out that was a good horror movie? Because Saw came out after that.
Perfume was really good. Saw is good. Seven is good. You know what actually really fucked me up for a little while was Signs and The Village.
Signs is good. Signs
is hilarious.
Signs is not good, but like
Signs
is a good answer.
People always tell me it's not a comedy. I'm like, it says it's a comedy horror on the back.
Well, it's not a comedy horror.
It's a comedy horror.
It's not a comedy horror.
It's a horror comedy.
Signs is not funny at all. Like, it's not intentionally funny at all.
No, it's fucking hilarious.
All right, I get that it's funny because it is fucking hilarious, but it's not a comedy. Like the same way that like Killer Clowns from Outer Space is not a comedy.
Or the original
That's a travesty.
Evil Dead.
Yeah, or Evil Dead is not
the original one.
Yeah.
They had to remake it to make
Signs,
it funny.
I had a big problem with Signs. So like, I'm very critical of Shamalama Ding Dong.
But I'm not the only one who calls him that, especially my mother.
Oh yeah, I call him that since I was a kid. Because I liked The Sixth Sense. I did genuinely like that movie. And then Signs was like the big follow-up, and there's The Village too. And The Village I didn't like at all. Because The Village to me just didn't make any sense with satellite imagery. But
But the dad actually ends up paying off a lot of people so that they won't do that.
Sure.
So that's the part that makes sense, but yeah. Oh, I know, The Babadook.
There's a good answer. That was like from 2013. Babadook is good. The Babadook.
Although I can completely and utterly. I love The Babadook so much, I actually wrote a paper on a couple of things on it. Like, I actually think that the mother might be just insane and the Babadook doesn't actually exist.
Well, that's what I think the point is.
The only thing...
Shut up, Conan.
The only thing that can possibly fight me on that is the fact that the kid is lifted up in one scene.
Yeah,
but that's the only thing. But that could just be easily, like, because he's not screaming or anything.
Because that's the thing. That can be...
I think
projecting his fears.
Exactly, because I think that's what's happening. The mother, first of all, has no fucking sleep. She also says that she wanted to work for a children's book or something like that, or do something in the line of children's books. Mm-hmm. So I think that she actually probably made the fucking pop-up book. It wouldn't be that. Well, it's a lot of work. I've actually done a pop-up book.
Even if she didn't, I can understand a child unable to cope with events. Projecting fears onto this.
Exactly. He doesn't. She read him this story of the Babadook. He doesn't know what is going on, why she's depressed, and why she's acting crazy. So it's got to be the Babadook.
Right. Exactly. There's a good.
The Babadook doesn't actually appear.
Well, exactly, and that's the whole thing. Is the Babadook is just kind of there as a figure in the background. Yeah. Doesn't really do anything. And I agree. I think it is the mother.
And there's like jackets and stuff like that other people have. Mm-hmm. So, and like, when people say, oh, well, what about when she's driving in the car and there's like things falling? I don't know, there's a bunch of leaves and trees around, it could be something falling there. She's also screaming her head off, driving around on the opposite side of the road. The kid's gonna scream too.
All of the stuff with the Babadook is from the kid's perspective, so you have to understand the child's mindset. That just because what is happening on screen doesn't make literal sense, that doesn't necessarily mean that's literally what's happening.
Exactly.
That's the child projecting his fears and making sense of it. That's how repressed memories happen. That's how kids cope with shit like that.
Yeah.
There's a really good video game that explores it. It's called Among the Sleep. And you play as a toddler. And you have to do everything from a toddler's perspective. Like, in order to open a door, you have to, like, drag a chair and then climb the chair. And a lot of the...
It sounds like Little Nightmares, almost.
Kind of, but it's a first-person perspective.
Yeah.
You really do feel like you're this child, and then all of the creatures that you fight are manifestations of fears. Like, fear of the dark. There's a creature that is just made up of darkness. You're afraid of...
I like it.
So you're basically...
It's a great game. It's made by a Swedish studio called...
The Swedes do everything right.
Oh, I cannot remember the name of it. But I was... When they did... They released the beta for it. Like, it was just the alpha. It was an open alpha. They were just like, hey... Was it Kilbright? Kilbright Studios, I think.
Wait, check this out.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're doing a thing. Tell us what you guys think. And I ran across it, and I downloaded it, and I swear to God, I've never been more terrified and more in the mindset of a fucking 2-year-old. Because one of the big things is your mother puts you to sleep, and then you start hearing shit in your house, so you have to crawl out of your crib, and then you have to go find your teddy bear, and your teddy bear is in the washing machine, because, and it sounds like it's drowning, because you can listen to the teddy bear, because the teddy bear talks to you, and it sounds like it's drowning, but it would make sense for a mother to wash the teddy bear as the kid sleeps. You know what I mean? So you open the teddy bear, and the teddy bear's like, oh, thanks for getting me out of there, buddy. And then so you put the teddy bear on your back, and the teddy bear helps guide you through your fucking house, which is creepy as shit, but it's not actually creepy as shit. It's just your perspective that's making it creepy. It's a fucking amazing game.
So you're Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Kind of, yeah. You're seeing everything as a way more dramatic, visually amazing, imaginative version of what it actually is. Highly recommend it. It's on Steam. They released a full version. It's fucking great.
I'm gonna go back to the Babadook real quick. Okay, so I can't remember what language it was, but if you put Babadook into, like, translator, it literally translates to Father Grief, which I basically kind of figured out before even finding that out. So the Babadook is a literal manifestation of grief. Her grief for her husband who died on her son's birthday.
Right.
So... And that's why it's still in her fucking stairs or in her basement after the movie, because you always live with grief. She will always have that grief, but she's not going to let it take control of her. She's going to learn how to control it. So, in case anybody was really pissed off about that ending, I just fucking explained it for you. So, and I will fight you on it.
Babadook, I did like the Babadook.
I like the Babadook. I find it hilarious now.
I didn't think it was particularly scary.
The first time I saw it, it was really great.
More of the psychological thing that I like, and something like that.
But then I watched it a few more times, like, this is bad, but it's good. Like, just looking at stuff in the background, it's pretty cheaply made. It's an Australian film, but it was still really good.
Well, and sometimes you don't have to, as like Blair Witch proved, you don't have to spend a lot of money to make a good horror movie.
Oh, yeah.
And, you can argue Blair Witch being a good or bad horror movie, but the fucking numbers speak for themselves. It spawned a whole genre of horror films, like Cloverfield came after, all the found footage films. Quarantine was one.
District 9 was a really good one. It wasn't necessarily found footage.
I did like District 9.
It wasn't necessarily found footage, but it was like that kind of like janky style of camera motion.
Would you like to hear a fun fact about District 9?
Sure. Oh yeah, you told me this.
District 9, well, don't tell them that I've already told you, just be interested in what I have to tell you so that our audience can appreciate it and listen vicariously through you.
I'm interested in hearing what you have to say.
Nobody wants to hear this
shit. So here's the fun fact about District 9. District 9...
It's freaking Halo! Okay, go on. Do I get slapped now?
District 9 was, they were going to make the Halo movie, which, in Halo, when the Covenant comes to Earth in Halo, they do come to New Mombasa, which is in Africa. So when the project fell through, they had built all of these sets and props and things that they didn't want to scrap. So, they pitched somebody, the writer, whoever wrote the screenplay, pitched the movie District 9 for use with those props. And that was what they did. They gave them the go-ahead. It saved them a ton of money on production costs for that particular film. But you can tell, like, they use rifles that are like coated in white, and you can tell it's the battle rifle. And then they have a tank come out of a garage that is obviously the Scorpion tank. It's a lot of stuff, and then there's the ship that they use that's above the thing is an altered version of the ship that the Covenant were gonna use to land. So anyway, District 9 happened because the Halo movie fell through. That's the fun fact I wanted to share with you. Yay!
I actually have a few of that director's movies aside from Chappie, because I wanted to watch it. It was supposed to be a lot better, but the Die Antwoord fucking ruined that. It ruined that movie. And if you don't know about it, go ahead and look it up online. You'll find several articles of them just fucking up the movie. And there was supposed to be a trilogy, from my understanding.
It was, as far as what I understood about it, as the female part of Die Antwoord was cool and kosher, but the guy turned into a complete fucking diva.
Well, they both kind of
all kinds of demands. I heard she was cool. I heard everybody was cool with her, but it was the guy in particular who made that entire production.
Well, he was kind of like also abusive.
Well, yeah, he just
physically, emotionally,
exactly.
But yeah, go ahead and look that up if you want to hear more about that.
Yeah,
because we're supposed to be talking about it.
But I did like Chappie as a movie.
Yeah.
So what was the last horror movie you saw that you liked, Conan?
Deathgasm.
Deathgasm is not a horror movie. You stop that right there. Stop it. I will hurt you. I will put various things of different sizes inside various holes.
I love Halloween.
I did like the remake of Evil Dead.
Yeah, it was good.
I love the Halloween movies, but the original Halloweens. Yeah, not the Rob Zombie.
Well, there are the classic slashers.
I like the Rob Zombie one too, though.
The classic slashers always hold a special place in my heart.
Yeah, I really love the Hellraiser series.
Oh,
I really want to read the book, especially since I saw something on YouTube that's like, what's the difference between the book and the movie?
There was a channel called Cinefix, and I highly recommend you subscribe to that.
They actually have a really good color theory video that I showed to my animation group, and it was just amazing. I love color. I love color theory. I love color theory in movies.
Yeah.
They do a really good job explaining
Cinefix, Cinefix, is my go-to pretentious film channel.
Yeah, I love them.
They do so many just lists, and they're so descriptive in what they're talking about and why they feel things are good. It's such a great channel if you like film.
Well, I've seen the first 2 or 3. I think I've seen the first 3 Hellraisers. The first one being my favorite, but I guess that they made a newer Hellraiser where Pinhead is a woman, and there were a lot of people pissed off about that, but I guess... I think it was 2006 or something like that. I don't know.
I haven't followed any of the classic slashers in a very long time.
Did he?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't followed them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I mean.
Well, anyway, I guess, I think that they made her a woman, or I saw a picture, and I guess that a lot of people were pissed off about said picture or said movie, about Pinhead being a woman, when in reality, Pinhead is a woman in the book, or appears as a woman in the book, which is just another...
It's the only book I haven't read. Seen the movie. I've only seen the first movie.
And you know what? It is not a good movie. Before its time, holy shit, that would be amazing to see.
I think the classic slashers should be watched with regard to the time in which they were released.
There was no major special effects in there, but the scene where the blood and the bone come together to create Frank is fucking amazing. And the fact that they use pretty much all practical effects, there is some CGI, it's really bad, but it's so awesome, and it still kind of holds up in a way that makes me super happy to this day.
Yeah.
And it's kind of terrifying. If I were to see something like that in, the 80s or whatever, I would think that was terrifying. That would, give me horrified wet dreams.
Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, and then Friday the 13th, part 3. Because that's the first one with actual Jason.
Is it really?
Yeah, because the first one is his mom is the killer. And then the second one, I think the second one is him, but he doesn't have the mask.
didn't have.
He has the sack with
he had
the
the sack. He didn't have the hockey
and then I
mask.
think the third one is when he becomes the mask, and
like everyone sees.
Jason. Friday the 13th is part 3, and then Halloween, the first Halloween, there's so many. There's Candyman, which was good. There was Hellraiser. There's another one. There's one I'm not thinking of right now that I love. But anyway,
American Psycho.
No. But those
Birds.
What?
Birds.
The Birds.
Well,
Alfred Hitchcock is a dick.
Is a category.
Oh, you know what? It was a pretty good
Hitchcock
one, but
is amazing.
You know what? Yeah, but he was still an asshole.
Right, but that's why he was amazing.
Yeah. You know what else was a pretty good movie, but it still was a little odd to me. Like it kind of ruined it towards the end. It Follows. The worst STD in the planet.
God. That's so. Yeah, it was dumb. See, I was gonna say, there's been so many bad horror.
No,
movies.
you know what's also really good thriller horror was oh goodness, what was it called? It was a deaf woman. There's a psycho killer outside of her household, and he's trying to get in, and she's deaf, and it's not.
Isn't it called Listen or something like that?
No, it's not Get Out. Get Out was
no. Get Out was Jordan Peele.
But it's kind of like the same idea, but reverse.
I didn't get to see Get Out. I heard Get Out was very good.
I haven't seen it.
As a
did not interest
Cabin
me.
in the Woods was another really good one.
Cabin in the Woods is comedy though.
Yeah, it was. Anybody who tells me it's a horror movie is
Cabin
a
in the
fucking
Woods
liar.
is an actual horror comedy done by Joss Whedon, and it is one of my favorite horror movies ever.
One of my favorite. I don't even really consider it a horror movie though. An American Werewolf in London though.
Well, that movie is amazingly bad.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Well, there have been good horror comedies like Shaun of the Dead,
Evil Dead 2,
Evil Dead, Army of Darkness.
No, not the first Evil Dead.
Insidious.
Evil Dead 2. You gotta
Insidious.
separate the two.
Yes.
Insidious was actually my favorite horror movie, but just the first one. Saw the second one, didn't like it. Didn't bother seeing the
Insidious
third.
was done by James Wan, who did the original Saw. And that's why I liked it as much as I liked it.
The second one really didn't need to be a thing, though. They didn't need to tie the two together.
No, that was another one of those things where Insidious 1 made a lot of money, so they made a bunch.
They made
Blob.
Paranormal Activity was that way.
And they didn't even get the red. They call him the lipstick demon. They didn't even get the original lipstick demon.
Yeah.
For the third.
The Blob.
There's a new Saw coming out this Halloween, and I'm really excited because, like I said, Saw is my favorite horror franchise. I figured out the ending of Saw 7, the big story arc ending, by Saw 5. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper and just kind of put it aside. And then when I went and saw 7, I went and I got that piece of paper and I'm like, I knew it!
Did you date it when you wrote it?
Yeah, well, I knew when I wrote it because I wrote it. I didn't try and, share it with the world hey, I figured it out. I didn't try to impress anybody. I was just super proud of myself that I was able to figure it out because that was how much into the movies I were. I was. Correct my grammar there. But new Saw's coming out. Looks good. Is there another horror movie that's coming? This weekend, Mother comes out, which is Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Helms, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
I do love Michelle Pfeiffer.
I don't. Am I weird? Well, I never liked her, and I love Batman. Batman Returns with Penguin and Catwoman.
You said you hated that movie.
I do.
I love that movie.
I genuinely, it's my least favorite one of the four.
You said you loved that movie.
No.
Oh.
I said I love Batman.
Oh, okay.
But Batman Returns with the Penguin and
Michelle
Catwoman
Pfeiffer as Catwoman is amazing.
Is my least favorite, and I hated her as Catwoman.
Fuck you.
I much
you have
prefer
the right
Anne
to
Hathaway.
be wrong, but I'm still gonna be
I much
angry.
prefer Anne Hathaway, and it's just because I have a celeb crush on her.
She's got
Make
too much
fight.
butt.
Dude, she's got so much butt, and I love it.
Make them fight.
I don't want them to fight. I don't know. I respect Michelle Pfeiffer, but I'm hard pressed to think of anything I've ever liked that she's been in. I almost want to pull up her discard. I'm not going to, but I don't know what it is about her. So I'm hoping that Mother, which is Darren Aronofsky, is directing it, by the way. He's the same guy who did Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream. Is doing this. It looks good.
Black Swan messed me up for a little
Black
bit.
Swan was fucking weird.
I like the part in Family Guy where Chris wanted to masturbate to Black Swan, and then he's like, with Natalie Portman, and yeah, we all know who the actor is.
yeah, we all did that. What? Anyway, no. So the only weird. So I think that's the movie because like I keep saying, like I'm trying to go to a movie every weekend, and I think that's what I'm going to try and go see this weekend. The only thing that's like I think is a little weird from what I've seen is the age gap between Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. And that's not to be like ageist or anything like that, or like why is a young woman can't be with an older guy? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is there's like a dissonance there where it's just like it's hard to see them together as a couple.
Well, I think that's going to be part of the
actually
twist.
Brought them together, kind of thing, right?
Right. Well, and that may very well.
I'm thinking that's going to be part of the twist. Like maybe he's like her uncle or something.
I don't know.
Mother. What? Why is it called Mother?
No. I'm just judging based off trailers right now. But like they're in bed together, and it is weird that Javier Bardem looks like he's in his mid-50s, and Jennifer Lawrence looks like she's in like her mid-20s.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit
weird
off. It takes you. For me, it took me out of the movie, or it took me out of the trailer at least. So I'm like, I had to sit and think about that for a second. So I'm gonna go see the movie, and I hope that that's either addressed or just becomes a non-issue. We'll see. But I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Saw. It was amazing. Go see it. It's fucking phenomenal. I'm going to see it twice in theater, and I never see a movie twice in theater unless a movie fucking deserves it, and I may even see it 3 times. Like, I'm just saying.
Can we get back to it, to talking about
Sure,
it?
let's get back to talking about it.
So, I don't even know right now.
Well, you were the one bringing up it. What you got to say, girl?
And you've gone on such a tangent. It's just like,
We're
where the fuck
horror
were we?
movies. We're talking about horror movies.
Yeah, but then we got to talking about like what terrifies you, and then we got into horror movies.
It's all along the same
we're
lines.
all on the same page.
Yeah.
It's not like we started talking about Toy Story. Although, Toy Story.
No.
I'm just kidding.
We definitely see, I think though there are a couple of the kid actors though. Some act a little bit better than the others, or portray their characters off a little bit better. Like, we don't even really see Stan a whole lot, who is the young Jew boy.
I disagree.
I don't really think so.
I think the whole bit with him in the synagogue and him getting attacked by the painting lady.
Yeah, the
and
painting
then
lady.
When he gets separated from the group later, I think he plays his character, which is the very orthodox.
Well, he
Jewish
plays
child.
He plays his character well. He does what his character has to do. Now we know why, because if you watch the original miniseries, we find out at the end of part 1, he ends up killing himself and writing it in his own blood.
Right, as an adult.
Yeah, and we didn't really
go back and face him.
Yeah, and we really didn't get an explanation. Like, he wasn't even really attacked by Pennywise. He just saw Pennywise in that one photo.
Yeah.
Really. Whereas here, he's so terrified because...
Yeah, he does get attacked by him.
Yeah, but he gets even more so attacked in this new movie when the painting of the lady tries to bite his face off.
That's true.
And it's also hinted, apparently, in the book that Stan may be a little psychic, which is why he remembers a lot more than the other children of Derry when they all leave. Because as soon as they leave Derry, everybody just seems to forget what it is. Mm. So, and I'm thinking also, with him seeing the lights within Pennywise, kind of showing its true form and whatnot, I think that he saw a little more than what he should have, than what he was able to.
Hopefully, part 2...
which is teased.
Explains it, yeah. They're already working on part 2. Chapter 2, I should say.
Yeah, so I think in being attacked...
I have high hopes, but I didn't have any problem with anybody's performance.
Well, I think in comparison to, like, Finn and whatnot, like, some of them I think just performed a little bit better than a few
Sure, but that's not to say that they performed badly.
No, that's not what I was saying.
I think they're all great, but, like, there were definitely some of the kids who shined.
Like, I honestly felt like Stan's character really didn't do anything until we get to that point where his face is almost eaten off, and now we know why he wants to fucking commit suicide. Whereas in the miniseries,
I
we
disagree.
Just get the one picture.
I think Stan's character arc is there.
He becomes a man, and
he doesn't. He doesn't ever do his. He doesn't do it because he's all fighting it.
No, he does. Finn was there at his bar mitzvah. It showed him reading from the pages.
Oh, maybe I just don't remember.
Yeah. So we get that.
Because there's more than just him getting attacked by the lady. There's also when he gets attacked in the sewer. When he gets separated.
Yeah, that's the same scene.
No, he gets attacked in the synagogue too.
Yeah, but that was just more like a beginning of Pennywise. Like, hey, I'm gonna start scaring you now because like Pennywise isn't gonna just scare him once and be done.
What happened to him happened to everybody else.
Yeah.
You have the same amount of interaction with everybody.
Yeah, but not in the miniseries.
Well, yeah, we're not talking about the miniseries. We're talking about the
I was.
Oh, well then I disagree. Okay, well then now I agree. Yeah, Stan doesn't do fucking shit
both.
in the miniseries.
Yeah, he doesn't really do much in the miniseries, and he doesn't do much compared to the other kids in the new film, but at least he does a little bit more in the miniseries. Or a little bit more in this new movie than in the miniseries.
Yes, he does, I think he does a lot more in the new movie.
Yeah. But what I'm saying...
Didn't really do a lot in the book either.
No.
Stan's just kind of there.
That's what I'm saying. He's just kind of there.
In the miniseries. Not in the new movie, though.
Compared to the other kids. I'm done. Yeah, anyway, and then we get, like, you know, we get, like, Bev and whatnot. Mm-hmm. We know she's, like, a good shot in the miniseries and whatnot, too, and she doesn't even do anything like that. She's kind of just... She is kind of the token girl figure in this movie and whatnot, but at least she does... Does she even...
Does she what?
Sorry.
She fucking destroys it.
Yeah, she does. Especially, yeah, you're right, with her dad. With it taking her dad's form. She just murdered her dad, too.
Yeah.
Then she fucking goes again to murder her father again.
And then goes to murder Pennywise. It was an eventful day for her.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And then, let's see. Finn, obviously, Finn's character as Richie definitely takes the entire show, though. Yeah,
oh, God, fuck yes. Yeah. Dude, Finn Wolfhard is the fucking man.
Yeah.
And yeah, Richie stole the show. The entire movie.
Yeah, he did. Well, in the miniseries too, he's like, I'm Richie and I do the voices or something like that. And it's just like, I haven't heard... You say you do voices and you've only been on for like 5 minutes. Why would you say that if you haven't even done voices yet? Exactly. And you don't do any voices so far.
Exactly.
Anyways. So...
You can't blame him. He's Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green does what he wants. And we know he does voices.
Yeah.
I've seen Robot Chicken.
Yeah, but this is pre-Seth Green getting famous.
So. Although he looked exactly the same.
What?
Yeah. And then... I'm trying to think of what else. Mike didn't really pass to me, personally, as somebody who's taking, like, acting, as somebody who saw their parents burn to death in a fire.
Well, that was when he was way younger.
I guess. Like, I don't know, it felt like he was told to be like, you're gonna talk about this, but you don't really want to talk about this, so you're just gonna, like, look kind of angry and just close your eyes and make a fist.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was implied that it happened to him when he was younger, and he's kind of had time to be able to operate.
I guess.
And then, but this is like,
but this is also somebody who can't shoot a sheep in between the eyes. Like, I would imagine, like, he would be really shaken up if he's going to talk about his parents burning to death in a fire.
He doesn't shoot the sheep initially.
No.
And I think that's because of his parents. I think that's why he's so obstinate against it. And then when he does actually shoot the sheep, you can see, like, this glaze in his eyes.
Yeah. Because he's got to get tougher.
This is just how I'm expected to be. So this is what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And then that kind of comes back when he goes to fight Pennywise. It's just, I don't want to do it. This is what I gotta do.
Yeah. Well, Mike at least is the one who tells everybody, like, hey, it's back. You gotta come back. Because this is our promise that we made.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what goes.
Which is also kind of interesting, kind of going back to Stan, though. Even though Stan is the one who commits suicide and doesn't come back, he's the one that mentions that there are 7 of them, 7 being the strongest magical number. And also, Stan is supposedly the one to actually carve everybody's hands, cut everybody's hands in the blood truths, in the blood oath, to come back.
In the book?
Yeah, from my understanding.
Because I think in the movie it was Bill. I think you did.
Yeah, Bill did it.
Glass, yeah.
Bill's obviously the leader.
Yeah. Him and Bev Marsh, though.
Bill.
Bill.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Well, we started with it as a horror movie and ended on Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think that's a full, complete circle we've made.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to call it here, everybody. Go see it if you haven't already, and if you have seen it, go see it again. It's awesome. Take your friends who haven't seen it and who obstinately refuse, make them see it. It's that good.
Yeah. It's good. It's good if you're like 25 and aren't completely scarred.
25? Yeah. If you're a little bit desensitized, it's the perfect movie.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you all next week, everybody. Hope you all have a lovely weekend, and
stay away from storm drains.
Stay away from storm drains.
Yeah.
All right.